Joined now by Anthony Schlegle, 97.1 The Fan. And Anthony, of course, a great football player in his own right at Ohio State. You hear him now on Morning Juice every morning on The Fan. And I got to ask you, Anthony, I mean, the world doesn't seem right now for a lot of reasons, but one of the big reasons, Ohio State and Michigan didn't play today.
Yeah, it didn't play. It didn't happen. It is one of those days where it's really difficult to get in your routine because you should have your kids have been going out and playing football in the driveway or in the street. Ohio State versus Michigan, you don't have that. You still have an Army-Navy Day game, that was played. You have some of the other contests, but you just don't have the game. And at Ohio State, it's the one that you train for all year. And regardless of how the game goes or, where Michigan is as a program, because we know what we are at Ohio State, everything that we do goes through the game because you have to win that one to go to the Big Ten championship game normally. And to have an opportunity to win a Big Ten championship, to go to the college football playoff, to win a national championship, it's just very disappointing, not as a fan, but really for the guys that play in it, because I know personally in my career, two of the best games I ever had at Ohio State were in the game. You look at what it does for, the life of a Zach Bourne and the hit that he had in 2012. I mean, careers are made and legends are born in this game, and here we are in 2020, and we don't have it.
And Anthony, I would think for the seniors especially, and some of those guys that came back, but they didn't know when they were actually playing their last game in the shoe, which is a really weird thing. They missed out on a senior day moment or a last game, and being that last game against Michigan, I would think for them it's especially tough.
Super tough. Dude, I mean, I'll tell you this. You look at a guy like a Justin Hilliard or a Jonathan Cooper, who comes back and plays in it last year, understands what that is, but guys that have been hurt, they don't understand. Those guys aren't coming back. And again, this has been a free year, so who really knows? But a year of uncertainty, it just goes to show how much these guys have sacrificed. So right now, their senior day no longer happened. They're not playing any more games in the shoe this season unless they come back to last year. And then as you get older, and this is where it really comes into play as a former player who can actually go back and think about it. I mean, I've lost now a parent. So you go back and on those memory day, on the senior day, when you start to remember that experience with your parents, like it's different as you get older versus, losing that now in the moment, right? And so that's something that some of them are going to be able to experience with their parents. And so it's just very frustrating for them of all they sacrificed for this season, not to have it come to fruition. Senior day, in the shoe, the game, difficult.
Anthony, I often debate with folks on social media. I know that's hard for you to believe, but why
do you do that, Dom? Why do you do that to yourself?
Well, one of the big things is, and I want your opinion, because I say a bad Big Ten, a weak Big Ten, a weak Michigan does not help Ohio State, and it certainly doesn't help the conference. Are you worried at all that could hurt Ohio State this year? You're only going to have 6 games in, but this conference is not very good.
There's a lot there, Dom. I mean, honestly, I think that what everybody talks about is the fact that you have the brand that is the Ohio State University. Look at what Brian Hartline is doing right now in recruiting, right? All the entire staff. But yeah, number 1 recruit from Texas quarterback. You have the number 1 recruit wide receiver. You look at the room that they put together. The talent is coming to Ohio State. 1, because of great coaching. 2, because of the brotherhood that is Ohio State football. And so when you have that type of talent, like, you're going to be good. So we're fine. But I'm kind of with you in the fact that I want the Big Ten to be successful and for us and for Ohio State to be, the flag bearer of an elite conference, kind of what you see as Alabama right now. Number 1, unequivocally the best in the country. They're going to have a showdown with Florida. You kind of want that. However, at Ohio State, you do you win your games. You're going to have the opportunity because you are the best brand of football in the Midwest. And so I kind of understand both. Like, I would always rather have a good Michigan rivalry. We just don't have that because I just don't think they care about it as much as we do. So it makes the rivalry better. Better talent and better competition in the conference just makes your team better. I understand back and forth, but this year in particular, just win your 6 games and you're in the college football playoffs.
I think it's interesting from Jim Harbaugh's standpoint because his future is uncertain. He's
Yeah.
a guy who we think is trying to get a contract extension right now with Michigan. And now he avoids what probably would have been an embarrassing loss. It was a 30-point spread. So do you think Jim Harbaugh's leverage was maybe saved by the fact that he didn't have to go out there and have 60 points hung on him by Ryan Day?
Dave, are you talking about them by chance waving the white flag that
Well, I'm not starting conspiracy.
I tell you what, Kurt did a good job of articulating that at the beginning, and he would have done so if he didn't have some, feelers out there, some voices that he was hearing what's going on. And now we've heard, and again, first off, this always goes back to the Big Ten. Just so everybody knows, I cannot stand the leadership that is the Big Ten. They have done they have failed this conference as far as transparency, fluidity, holding people accountable. They allowed everybody to go cancel games like we had this week, predicated upon their own judgment. Why did they come out with the rules and the protocols in the first place? I don't know. They did reverse the rule of 6 games to 5. Yeah, because it was common sense. Even if Ohio State would have lost to Michigan, they still would have beat Indiana head-to-head. They still would have been in the Big Ten championship game. All right, makes sense to change the rule. Plus, everybody, if they do go to the college football playoff, gets $6 million. Every program in the Big Ten needs that in 2020. So you look at what Jim Harbaugh has done. I don't understand where – well, I do. Michigan's kind of at this point. We are complacent. We understand exactly where we are. Can we somehow be a top 15 program? Right? You have Jim Harbaugh out there trying to get feelers in the NFL because they know what he's kind of good at. Every time he's had a tenure, first 4 years, I'm going to go out there. I'm really going to change it. We're going to have an opportunity to go potentially win. But then after that, I've kind of lost my luster. So I'm on to the next. That's kind of where he is. I think that they're talking about contract extension to save the recruiting classes that they have. But I don't know, does he really want to do this? Does he really want to recruit? Does he really want to be, for whatever versus the rival and him being a Michigan man? Do they need some new blood? The problem with Michigan is this, guys, the best people that are out there in the country right now, Matt Campbell, Luke Fickell, and Urban Meyer, guess what? They ain't coaching at Michigan. So how do you get somebody in there that embodies, that understands the rivalry, that wants to change it up to make it important? I don't know where you go. Ryan Day is an outsider here in Columbus, Ohio, he worked for Urban Meyer, who got it. And so does Ryan Day, and that's why it's really important. That's why they're having success. Great question, David.